Welcome to Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. We are back to looking more and more like the weirdos of old. Mark Valentine is still on his trip to Walt Disney World, so he is not able to join us. We'll make it feel like it's here for just a minute.
Hey, Peter Parker.
Oh.
You got something for me?
Joining us from his time off. I suppose it's well-deserved, but regardless, it was time off nonetheless. Piano Rob. How are you, Rob?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing well. Rob and I hung out at Hollywood Studios this afternoon. That was a grand time, grand piano. Right below him, Markie Mark. How are you doing, Mark?
A grand piano time. Yep, I caught that. That was pretty good. Doing well. Ready to talk about tonight's episode. Yeah, I don't know. Ready to talk about the episode, especially with our new friend tonight.
That new friend is Miss Jaylynn. If you joined us last week, Jaylynn joined in to give us her hot take specifically about Nat and Bruce, and I'd love to get the other two's opinion on that. But Jaylynn, how are you first, and what was that hot take again?
I'm doing good. It's a hot day here today, but at least I'm nice and cool in the basement, so it looks like it. But,
you know, hot days.
Yeah, but my hot take was that I love the relationship between Nat and Bruce in Ultron, and I wish we got more of it.
I knew Markie Mark was going to like it. Rob, what do you think of that?
I can go either way. I did like the relationship they had with each other, but I also totally understand things don't work out. Sometimes you end up on an alien planet and you're a Hulk for a couple of years, like that things. So I'm okay with the reality of things not working out. So I don't mind it, but I didn't need it.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, let's get into
it. Politician answer there, Rob. I'm not going to commit, but I support both sides, but I'm not going to commit.
If those crazy kids fell in love, they can be happy if they want to. Who am I to judge?
Okay.
It's like Bobby Newport on Parks and Rec. I would like to tell Mr. Munchmeat that I am against crime and I'm not ashamed to admit it. All right. Well, in big Marvel news, before we get into What If, Shang-Chi tickets are on sale. Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings, being affectionately referred to by Disney CEO Bob Chapek as an experiment who can't seem to, we're just going to move on from that. He very upset Simu Liu and several other cast members of Shang-Chi by calling it an experiment. It is not an experiment. It is going to have a 45-day exclusivity. I know what Bob Chapek meant by saying it's an experiment, but it did not come across nicely. Simu Liu took offense to this, and he wants us to go out to the movie theaters. I think everybody in this screen is going to venture out to the movie theaters to see it. If you're not going to go, let us know in the comments how you plan on avoiding spoilers for 45 days. But it'll be interesting. But Jaylynn, you have tickets for opening weekend, correct?
Yes, I got tickets for Thursday at 6 p.m.
Okay. Yep. I've got Thursday at 6 p.m. as well. I'll be an hour ahead of you because I'm not in the central time zone.
Mm-hmm.
But Markie Mark, did you get tickets for opening night as well?
Yep. There was only one 6 o'clock showing, not a fan of that. And the seats weren't that great. So I'll be going at 7:30 to a dine-in screen so I can lounge in style.
Kara is giving me the opportunity, so I'm going to take this opportunity. Bobby Newport's never had a real job in his life. Rob, you going to go opening weekend as well? I know Labor Day weekend as a piano player is going to be a little bit full.
Yeah, my reality is I hope so, but usually I don't get to go. You know, I don't go when it's busy anyway. I'm going to go in the middle of the day or something. So,
Rob, you know why I had to go Thursday night and couldn't go the following weekend or the next couple of days, right?
Why? What are you doing for Labor Day weekend?
Rob, so it premieres on September 2nd. What starts on September 3rd, Rob?
Oh, Halloween Horror Nights.
There you go.
Yeah, which I'm probably going to miss the first weekend too because we can't talk about that. It's not Disney.
Sorry, my bad. Mickey's Not So Scary. Boo to you. Woo!
Not only is it not Disney, it's not Marvel. All right. Well, I also have them for opening night. I'm very, very excited. It's going to be good to have the MCU back. It's not quite the break we had between Spider-Man Far From Home and Black Widow, but I'm excited to see another Marvel movie, one that counts. and stick close to Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. We're going to do another spoiler review. We will not do it without Piano Rob this time. We'll make sure we coordinate that recording just a little bit better so we don't leave Rob out of the recording. But our Black Widow spoiler episode, I listened to it the other day because I had run out of all other podcasts to listen to at the moment in time. I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. First and foremost, before we get into What If, Katie is here. And Katie, thank you so much for joining us. She got her opening night tickets for Shang-Chi. Markie Mark, Katie just for the first time last night watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I was proud of her for that. We did an episode on it for a reason. She talked about it for a reason. She also talked about the movie Collateral with Tom Cruise. I was happy about that. Yeah. But I love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie. Hot take, maybe. I don't know.
It's a great one. That's fair. It's fantastic.
It is also my favorite Spider-Man movie. Well, let's get into talking about What If. Jaylynn, we'll start with you. What were your overall thoughts on the episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did it fit in? Where did it fit in amongst the 4 Disney Plus series premieres for you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. This series wasn't high on my most anticipated list of everything that was coming out, but this definitely exceeded my expectations. We got more than I thought we would. I love that the first episode was about Peggy Carter and the first Avenger. I'm a big Captain America fan, so having this be the first episode really grabbed me. I don't know where I would put this in rankings of series premieres yet. I didn't even think of that. I think Falcon Winter Soldier is still my favorite premiere. And then probably Loki, and then this, and then WandaVision, I would say.
Okay. Markie Mark.
If I'm going to go, man, I'm going to get blasted by everybody at home. WandaVision, I think, was the weakest because I honestly couldn't remember it when I was thinking about ranking it. I know. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier was my most enjoyed. I think Loki was the best made premiere. Not like I said, Falcon was my most enjoyed. Falcon was the best made until I watched this.
The movie snob is coming out.
Huh?
The movie snob in you is coming out.
You're right. My bad. Let me just answer straight up. What if I think, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Wait a minute.
Perfect.
What If was the best made and my favorite premiere of all the series so far.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Rob, how about you?
WandaVision, Loki, What If, Falcon, Winter Soldier. That order for me.
Rob.
I knew you were gonna say that, but WandaVision, that first one drew me in too much. It was too weird. I wanted to do it.
Thank God we're not playing our newlywed game tonight.
Well, I would have known what to pick for you. We can have different interests.
That's true. I think I would have gotten you right.
It's all right. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I love the series. It just didn't grab me as much as the other ones. Loki was fantastic. This is great for what. Can I do my overall thoughts since that's what's on the bottom? Since we're there, Bryan.
Yep.
I enjoyed the series. I think you just have to watch it as this is a snippet in time. You're not going to get a full story. There's going to be things, but the point of it is there are an infinite number of possibilities of what can happen in the universe, and that's what's beauty. This is just one scenario. Like, you could still have other scenarios that are similar. Maybe there's one where, Steve Rogers doesn't get in some type of Iron Man suit. Maybe there's one where Steve Rogers dies. It's just one possible scenario. So for what it was a great story.
So Dwayne's asking, question for us is What If going to play in the overall MCU timeline? We don't know how it's going to. When the show was originally announced, it was announced as a non-canon exploration of what would have happened if something had changed. Now, after the events of Loki, they are confirming that it is playing in this multiverse timeline. And Jaylynn, I want to toss this to you. There's rumors and nothing more than that. This is not anything more than a rumor that we could see Haley Atwell reprise her live action role as Captain Carter in some sort of multiverse fashion. You are nodding like you want.
I'm here for it. Yes, please. Give it to me now. I need it yesterday.
That would be amazing. I hope beyond hope that we get Markie Mark, that shield behind you, that Marvel Legend that they release a Captain Carter version of the shield. That would be really, really cool. So to answer your question, Dwayne, we really don't know. We don't know what the future of the multiverse is going to look like. Is the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, the SPUMC, or the MCU, are they going to have some sort of co-aligning multiverse aspect? Is the multiverse going to play a massive role throughout the MCU? Are these characters literally going to be jumping from multiverse? Is this how we introduce Loki back into the prime MCU timeline? The sacred timeline is no more, and I don't know how you go back and fix that. So I think the multiverse is kind of here to stay. So seeing Captain Carter in a live action capacity is absolutely something that I would love to do. Rob, do you make that a consensus choice? You'd love to see that?
Yes, I would like to see it, and I'm flat out. I'm just curious how to use it, because it's like sticking your hand in a bag of jelly beans. You don't know what flavor you're going to get. Like, you can just take it whatever. It's like throwing darts. Like, you could just take it in any direction. Also, I think if they have a problem with an actress like they did with Scarlett Johansson, they can easily replace a character. Oh, this is the Black Widow from the multiverse now, or something like that. You can bring totally new actress, and they can make it seamless, because that's the reason now. It's a multiverse.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were searching for a box of chocolates, not a bag of jelly beans. But
why bag of jelly beans?
Mark, I'm going to start with you, and we're going to get right into it, where the what if spans across the universe. It changes because Dr. Erskine asks Peggy Carter if she wants to go back upstairs with Steve, and she says, nope, I would rather stay downstairs.
Is that a question, or?
It's a question. Take it from there. What did you find interesting about setting up this episode?
I mean, man, I watched this episode so much. I started analyzing it. I don't know if I was in school mode or what, but I was like, this Peggy Carter didn't let the men in the room intimidate her, so she decided to stay down there and be more confident to be there for her friend Steve. And you can tell Steve appreciated it. Could something that small really change everything like that? I mean, yeah, you could tell. I love the slow motion shot of her going to stop the explosion, and she was there. She would have been closer to him. I mean, it just shows just one little decision can change everything. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I never really took it as Peggy being, I guess, not willing to act for herself by being upstairs. I guess that's an interesting way to put it. I never really thought about it that way. Dwayne does say, help us out by, if you're watching, give us a thumbs up, share the stream. We'd love to get Earth Mightiest Weirdos out to the masses. Yes, please. Thank you so much, Dwayne. But Jaylynn, what about this opening scene, and overall, did the animation work for you? Did the animation catch you off guard a little bit?
It caught me off guard at first. It took me a while to get used to it. I haven't watched like an animated show in a while, so it definitely took me a while to get used to this style, but I did like it. I did. Once it grew on me, I definitely enjoyed it more. And I liked how quickly the moment came that like changed the multiverse. How, just like I said, yeah, just how quickly it came, and that little decision of just staying downstairs with Steve is what took it. And I think that just shows their relationship and how much already they care for each other, is that they just want to be there and support each other.
Right. And I'm glad Steve didn't die when he got shot. Like, but it honestly made the Hydra agent feel a little bit more empowered to blow the place up before the experiment ever happened. Whereas in the first Avenger, like, he left his thing behind. He was being a little bit more sneaky about it. Very sneaky, sir. But I watch a ton of animated television. I both for myself as well as I bounce from Bluey to My Little Pony to whatever's on the Looney Tunes, and then all the Star Wars animated stuff that I watch. So I'm used to watching the animation. This animation, I love it and I don't care for it all at the same time. I don't care for the slower moments. I don't think it fits quite as well, but the animation style for the action scenes is really, really good. Say what you want to say, Markie Mark.
Nope. I respect your different of opinion, but I thought it was pretty cool when you just see her going and reaching out in slow motion. I thought it was a great effect.
No, I agree. When it's action oriented, I agree. It's when they're sitting down and having a conversation that it's just not my favorite. But
Bryan, when you and I are having a moment, time slows down. They were just trying to create that moment of when things are going well and just
Rob.
The animation didn't bother me. I'm a story guy, so I don't care if it's South Park animation or if it's new Mickey Mouse cartoon animation or whatever it is. If the story's good, I'm in. The animation didn't bother me. As somebody who also tries to avoid stairs a lot, I can't believe it could make so much of a difference. But other than that, man, it was. Oh, you didn't like that one, Mark? You didn't like it?
No, I really did. I did.
But yeah, but other than that, I mean, it was a great start, and it made sense. I like when things make sense. It was a good reason for things to go down the way they went down.
Yep, and it reintroduced Bradley Whitford's character. Mark, help me out if you can remember his name. I can't remember his name, the Colonel, at the moment. But he was a character in Agent Carter, which is not officially canon, but it's definitely playing in the multiverse.
Yep.
But if you want to watch Agent Carter, both seasons are on Disney Plus. I would very much recommend Agent Carter before I recommend Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from a standpoint of filling in MCU storylines.
I thought you were going to say something else, Bryan.
He's John Flynn, right?
John Flynn. Thank you. Colonel John Flynn. Thank you so much. And he is strongly discouraging Peggy from jumping into the chamber. Peggy knows there is no other option. She has to be the one to do it, or it would be John Flynn, and that would not be good either. They just killed Tommy Lee Jones's character pretty quickly. He was gone. But having Bradley Whitford come back do the voices, having Haley Atwell do the voice, having the voice of Howard Stark there. Go ahead.
I triple checked every time, and every time I watch the episode, am I the only one who doesn't think that sounds like Haley Atwell? Like when she goes, "That was brilliant," and the truck goes flying over, I was like,
it's very Hermione Granger.
Is that what, man? Hopefully it's not Hermione from the train ride. Anyways, I didn't think it sounded like her, but I mean, I know it was, but it didn't sound like her. So it sounded like a younger her, which is good for her and the sound engineers.
I loved the entire Howard Stark. Just I only push the buttons, and then she gets to come on the mission later on that there's going to be a button to push. I love Howard Stark just in general and everything. I was bummed that there was no mention of "Do You Too" fondue.
Yeah,
you can't have too many on the nose references, especially when we get sharing the dance and ripping the arm off, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But Howard plays a gigantic role after Steve tells Peggy, hey, at least you didn't have to go on some USO tour and sell war bonds, which again was very referential to Captain America, the First Avenger. But Jaylynn, Captain Carter, she gets that shield from Howard. It's ready to go, and she jumps right into the action.
Yeah, she's ruthless and brutal, and I'm here for it. I loved the action. I liked how quickly she was to get into the action compared to what Steve was in the First Avenger. Just how long it took Steve to just get into that fighting mode where Peggy's just I'm here for it. I'm taking their heads off and busting kneecaps. She's taking no prisoners.
Literally busting kneecaps. Yes.
Literally busting kneecaps.
You mentioned it, and I will say of my nitpicks of the episode, when she flips the truck over and says that was brilliant, that kind of took me out of it a little bit. I think her finding herself surprised by her own strength just kind of took me out of it a little bit. Her commentary of it was fine. I didn't care for it. But you mentioned to me via text message, and I'm not betraying any sort of confidence, this is one of your favorite action sequences in the entire MCU.
Bryan, if that's the only text that you admit to me sending you, then we're fine. I think that scene and then a later scene with the fighter planes, I think are, how can you not talk about two of the best MCU action scenes we've seen? I think that scene when she does the superhero landing and then flips the truck and the fighting scene, her introduction, that was one of the best MCU introductions. I loved her flipping the truck because it slows down right as it makes impact, and you see the beautiful animation, and she just flips it over. I don't see what you're saying about taking you out of the moment. I mean, if I just flipped a truck, I would probably have a little moment of, wow, jinkies, some kind of moment. I would have had a moment.
Maybe it was that was brilliant. Maybe it didn't take me out of it, but let's have another go. Like maybe that's, I don't know. It just didn't fully work with me. But there was one part that really worked with me, and I'll betray another text message that Rob sent of getting.
Careful what you send to Bryan.
A guy. Right? She opens the back of the truck, and all he can say is "Scheisse."
Yeah, man. I like Disney. You snuck a word that's a bad word. What? It's another language. We're allowed to put that on Disney Plus now.
I also just said it on a live broadcast. Sorry about that.
You're right. I watched Cool Runnings last week, and they edited out half the movie when he's saying he's a badass. It's like they edit all that out. But here we are, Peggy Carter. We're going here, and we're just Zola can say whatever he wants.
Yeah, Arnim Zola. He's allowed. I mean, it's overall.
Well,
I have other MCU projects, but
we saw that in the first Avengers where Loki calls Natasha not so pleasant word. So stuff gets by if you don't use English.
I just think it caught you off guard because it was in a cartoon world. But Rob, what did you think of her getting that shield? The costume looks great. I love that she doesn't have a helmet.
Costume's great. The shield is great. We should also comment, when Steve was in that machine becoming Captain America, he was screaming and whining the whole time. She did not make a peep. She took it and she came out strong. I honestly feel like she's a better Captain America than Steve was based on this cartoon. Like, she was making some, are you really powerful enough to flip a truck? We got to accept it in this universe. That I think that if anything took me out of the moment, and I hate to, that's a strong phrase for it. I think it was something like that for me. It was like, you can just use that shield and flip a truck over. I didn't know you could do that.
I think my only thing is Steve, love that man, Steve Rogers, but he needed a lot of work. Peggy Carter was already a strong woman who I feel like they kind of put her in for 30 seconds. It was fine. Rogers needed like the full minute. So maybe that's why there was a little more screaming just to help him out.
Stark also turned it up to 11 really quickly because the amount of...
Please tell me everyone at home got that reference.
Spinal Tap.
Yay.
I was going with Cable's gun and Deadpool 2.
Where do you think he got that from?
I know. But again, like I said, I'm glad she doesn't. And I mean, I knew she wasn't going to because I've been plugged into the marketing, but I'm glad she didn't have a helmet. I think it's cool that she's willing to face the world and just.
They had one for her, didn't they, at one point?
They did have one. They did. Yeah. But she just looks so cool. That costume.
I love the hair. Even her hair. She's coiffed.
She comes out of the machine taller, just like Jeff says, Spinal Tap. Nice. He appreciates.
It's like the Piano Rob effect. You just comb once every 3 months and your hair looks amazing.
They get the Tesseract. She turns it into Colonel Flynn, says, "You're not even supposed to be in the field." She goes, "Well, then promote me." Captain has a nice ring to it. That was awesome. Yes. What she wants. Stark says he knows exactly what to do with the Tesseract, and Steve Rogers becomes the first Iron Man. Jaylynn, I didn't know. I mean, I could have come together, but ready to join the war effort, Steve, and then seeing Steve be the Hydra Stomper. This was amazing.
Yeah, I had no idea Steve was going to be the Hydra Stomper. Even when I bought the Funko Pop, still had no idea. I just thought it looked cool. I only watched the trailer for this one time, and I didn't watch any other promotional things for it. So I know some people knew this was coming, but I had no idea, and it was a good surprise. And it makes me enjoy the Funko Pop even more.
we get the scene right before we get Steve as the Hydra Stomper. She's running alongside the motorcycle and just kicks the guy off of the motorcycle. And Dum Dum Duggan's in the prison and says, since when has a dame fought like that? And today. Okay, sounds good. And then asking Sergeant Barnes, what are you, the Queen of England? Like this and Stan was so good. But Mark, when she saves the 107th, what did you think of this scene?
I thought the scene was really good. I enjoyed her running up next to the motorcycle, just like it's nothing, knocking the guy off. And then it was good to see that she got some jokes from the guys, just like Steve did when he showed up to save them. So that was a cute little thing. Yeah, I enjoyed it. As you watch it, you see she didn't have as much adjusting and difficulty. So I kind of wonder if, Peggy Carter with her military background and everything, she was definitely more prepared for this and showed why she should have been considered for the program. But yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
Robin, what about this scene stood out to you?
The ready to join the war effort one?
Yeah, just that and her saving the
saving
107th.
I mean, her saving them was great. There was one of those scenes where like the doors bust open. It was taken right out of the Captain America movie, but it's her instead of Steve. I really enjoyed that. That's because I really enjoyed the first Avenger. That was one of my favorite moments in that movie too. And Steve getting the armor was cool. Like, because you got to remember that Tesseract for the MCU we're used to was frozen in ice with him. So the fact that to see what Howard could do with it, had he had his hands on it so much quicker, that was pretty amazing too. So I thought that was really, really cool.
I brought that up, how Peggy seemed to get the cube a lot quicker than Steve did. Is it just showing once again that maybe she was a little better prepared for it? But I didn't know for a fact that Steve was going to be the Hydra Stomper. I was just like, man, that would be great because we know Peggy's going to be the captain. That'd be great if you can't kill Steve Rogers. So I was just guessing he was in there, and I was like, man, that would be a cute little buddy story of her kicking butt with the shield and then Rogers in the Iron Man outfit. I thought that would have been a cute story, and the hopeless romantic in me was right. So
yeah, that was like, and then like Dum Dum Duggan saying like that's a flying Buick, and she's friends with that robot, and Bucky's like, yeah, I think I'm friends with him too.
Yep.
Just having Steve come in with his new dance shoes, as he refers to them, just all of it just worked really, really well for me. Like Steve Rogers being the first Iron Man, I thought was really cool. And this led into my favorite scene of the episode, where even airplanes are no match for this. Jaylynn, what did you think of her taking down? Like you get the cool musical to go along with it. It doesn't really match the visuals, but it was
yes,
just
it does.
Cool. It does, but it's not like it's when you hear that kind of music, like this isn't what you're expecting to see.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this sequence was probably my favorite part of this whole episode. And it's definitely one of my favorite action sequences of the MCU. It was great. I love that part where she jumps off the plane and is just like free falling and then just lands on top of Steve as the Hydra Stomper. It was just amazing. And I would love to see that like on a giant screen in the movie theater. Just that scene. That's all I need. Just like have that play before a movie at some point.
Her jumping from one airplane to the other by just using the shield to go through the propeller. Like that was so cool. Mark, go ahead.
Oh, I agree. I would pay money. Like if they decided to show this episode before Shang-Chi, I would have been the happiest person in the world if they had made that announcement. Like re-release Black Widow. We'll show you what if before it, just to get people in theaters. Like, do it.
Rob, did you think this airplane scene? I mean, it was cool. Did it catch your attention on your first watch as well?
It definitely caught my attention. It was very cool. I mean, flat out though, let's be honest, they can do things with cartoons that weren't going to happen with live action.
Right.
Steve really had a lot of faith in that Iron Man suit because we know how much trouble Tony had with his first couple. So for Howard 70 years earlier or whatever it was, to make one that they had that much faith in, so he can fly around like Hero and Baymax and save the day. I mean, it was a great scene. Possibly a little unrealistic, but definitely a great scene for the show, and it fit the storyline.
If we're gonna cross animation, like what it really reminded me of is the Siege of Mandalore at the end of season 7 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and what Ahsoka does, how she gets from the shuttle, and then she says, "I'll race you to the surface," and she just goes through all the clone troopers, or all through the planes and stuff on her way to the ground, jumping from plane to plane. Like that's kind of the feeling that I got. And it was really, really cool.
And I'm glad you said that. Like you hit a good point that like Jedis can do certain stuff like that. Super soldier jumping from plane to plane. Let's hope that this new machine catches me that we just built. Like I said, obviously a little unrealistic, but getting past that, it's a great scene.
Rob, you must have really not liked the big climax to Black Widow then.
There was some things too. It's like, when we talk about, if let's face it, we're all movie people, we're all Disney people. You want to go back to like the old Indiana Jones things. Like there's some things that Indiana Jones survives that it's like, all right, well, is he a man or not? But there are some things like these. The thing that makes this great, I like that you took him out. The thing, oh, you didn't, you just left. The things that make this, the things that make it great is when certain people are really super and have superpowers, and then there are very human, grounded characters. So there's just there is that mix. But I mean, like I said, it's still a great episode. It's great for what it is.
It's animation. They're gonna do plenty of other stuff in animation. It's just. That's what it's there for. But for me, it builds the trust that Peggy has with Steve. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of our Star Spangled Man with a Plan moment a little bit with that musical going over the top of it. Not near as memorable for me, other than the accompanying visuals that came on the screen. But the song itself, like I would have loved to have gotten some sort of lyrics with it to kind of go with that Star Spangled Man with a Plan. But I mean, you can't put everything to be exactly the same. But they have the train heist that they are just very similar to when we lose Bucky in Captain America, the First Avenger. Bucky even says, as he almost falls off, that you almost ripped my arm off. But having the Hydra stopper there to be able to slow down the train, when you talk about things that couldn't necessarily happen in real life, like not only did Peggy jump off of the top of a moving train, so did the rest of the soldiers. But having Steve, and I thought where this was headed, and I think, Jaylynn, you're with me, of Steve was headed to be the Winter Soldier. That's that's where I thought we were going, and they used Bucky to kind of make you think that a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely where my mind went. I thought Steve died like 8 times in this episode, so every time he came back, I was like, all right, he's still alive, cool. But this moment, I definitely thought he was gone and was going to come back as the Winter Soldier, and I was excited for that. I thought that'd be a really cool storyline if we got that.
Mark, did you think he was going to be the Winter Soldier too?
I didn't. I'm really disappointed that I didn't have that thought, because I would watch that or read it, whatever it was. I would enjoy that. I'm glad it didn't happen story-wise. I like what did happen, but man, I would read that what if.
Well, Ross Marquand was reprising his role as the Red Skull from Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. And different than in Captain America, the First Avenger, where he's creating weaponry using the Tesseract, he's creating an interdimensional portal, and he gets killed very, very quickly by whatever is coming through that portal. But Rob, I want to go to you on just Red Skull and everything he had going on. I thought I typed Red Scroll. Man, I got scrolls on the brain. But he's opening this interdimensional portal. Just what about this entire scene, Rob, that stood out to you there?
I mean, I love Red Skull. I also love Ross Marquand. What a great actor, and he's a great voice actor. I mean, Red Skull was being Red Skull. I mean, that's really what it is. He in my mind, he was pretty much the exact same villain doing the exact same villainy things. You know what I mean? He got to the point that I like how they did get to the point that he opened the portal. I like that he died from his own, trying to push the envelope with science that he doesn't understand. So, I mean, I don't know what much else. That's all I really took from that. There it was again, good scene, like seeing Red Skull.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he didn't have Zola like available to him, maybe that's why they went the interdimensional route. They never really explained why he made this decision differently than he did in Captain America: The First Avenger. I think opening an interdimensional portal, we knew the Tesseract could do that, as was referenced at the end of this episode as well. But it was really interesting. We don't know what was coming through that. Was it just simply the symbol for Hydra, a Kraken of some sort? There is speculation that it's Shuma Gorath, which is a Doctor Strange villain that has been rumored, just like everybody else under the sun. I hear you're also rumored for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Rob. But
no, me, I should be. I should be.
Okay, cool. I can't wait for you to show up there. But I mean, it's this interdimensional being that goes up against Dormammu at some point. I don't know much about Shuma Gorath other than that. I mean, it would make a ton of sense, especially if you do want to introduce something that cosmic into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. What If is a good place to at least see it pop up. But Peggy, just like Steve, is willing to put her life on the line and do whatever it takes. And she now owes Steve that dance. And Jaylynn, she jumps from 1943. We lost Rob for a second. We'll get Rob back in if he's able to join us. But we jump from 1943. She jumps all the way to 2012. And instead of Loki coming through that Tesseract portal, it's Captain Carter.
Yeah, I don't know how I thought this episode was going to end, but I did not think it was going to end like this, with her showing up in 2012 with Nick Fury and Barton. So that was a fun surprise for me. I liked it. I liked how she came out with both the shield and the sword. I like, when she got that sword, I was like, okay, now she could do even more damage than she can with just that shield. So I liked it, and I'm excited to see how this ties in to all the other episodes. If this is Fury starting like a new Avengers team, or what, but I'm really looking forward to see where this all goes with this ending.
I wonder if like Peggy Carter's decision to become Captain Carter and everything else, if that actually spun off this entire other thing that then leads to Killmonger as the Black Panther or as T'Challa as Star-Lord. Like, is it all that interconnected? Because I expect each episode to take one piece by piece, but now it seems like, and reports are, that it's building one more cohesive story. Mark, do you think they're building a more cohesive story there, or do you? Yeah.
Do you mind if I rewind? I had thoughts on Red Skull.
Yes, go ahead. Yes,
okay.
I'm sorry.
So shout out to Ross Marquand. He, of course, voiced James Cameron on the podcast Blockbuster. If you haven't listened to Blockbuster, check it out. He plays James Cameron. Come on. Anyways, I think because Red Skull lost his head scientist, that's why he went for it. And then definitely with the scene, if anyone's seen the first Hellboy movie, I kind of got a Hellboy vibe with the tentacle creature coming through. I could be alone on that one. And then when Red Skull did his evil speech and then he gets picked up and then squished, I was like, man, Red Skull just isn't meant to make it in any of the cinematic universes. Okay, that's fine.
Now who's the keeper of the Soul Stone? That's what I want to know.
True. And that's going to be another ripple effect. But then then Captain Carter becomes Wonder Woman, and she picks up the sword and has the shield and fights off Squidward and pushes it back into the dimension. And you do that so well. Jumps out. I loved her, even though she was in another dimension, just jumps out ready to go. And I think I'm excited. My first thought was, oh man, we're going to have a different Avengers because we already had an Iron Man suit. So who knows what Tony's now working on in his time. So I'm excited for the What If Avengers. I'm excited for it.
As far as we know, she didn't jump timelines. She didn't jump from there because Clint Barton knew who she was.
Right.
So she just simply jumped into the future rather than jumping from one timeline to another.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah. Tony didn't need to invent the Iron Man suit, so now he's going to try to perfect it.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to see.
Bryan, can I jump in?
Yes, absolutely.
I think that what it also shows is there's certain things that are inevitably going to happen. I think that like so the fact that Fury and Hawkeye were there in many versions of the multiverse, events 70 years into the future still are going to happen. And I also assume, and I think we're all on the same page with this, every episode isn't going to be now in this multiverse. It could be, it's just going to be a random story from another multiverse picked from the infinity, from the infinite number of them, and another. I mean, they might do some from the same one, but we could talk about this later too. But even the Watcher said at the beginning, time does not flow straight; it's a prism, which also kind of means that Kang's little thing at the end of Loki, his thing of one flowing thing of time, is really not the way to look at time. It's a prism, he said, not a straight line.
Jeffrey Wright is the Watcher. His voice is just perfect. He's super good. I agree with that, Rob. Like, you jump 70 years in the future, no matter what timeline you're on, and you still have Shield and Nick Fury playing with the Tesseract just to see what it can do. But you're going to have a new Avengers team. I don't know how interconnected these stories are going to be. I hope it's going to be hard to have 3 different storylines that you jump from episode to episode while you're, depending on the point of view. I don't know how they're going to build off of each other. I'm very interested to find out. That's for sure. We know we're going to get at least Iron Man in the donut like he is in Iron Man 2. We've seen that from the promotional footage. So I wonder how they're going to tell this story, if they're going to start from square one every single week and then get to the end of the series or the end of the season and say, okay, this is how it all comes together. I really don't know. And I love that I don't know.
Yep.
I want to ask ask of the group, and we'll start with Jaylynn. Jeff says, how did you feel about the fact that they kept the romantic nuance between Steve and Peggy despite the role reversal? Jaylynn, go ahead.
Loved it. Steve and Peggy's relationship is one of my favorites in the MCU. I love that in Endgame, Steve goes back to be with Peggy. So I'm a big fan that they kept this relationship in this episode. And I like that the roles were reversed, but they still respected each other. Like, it didn't affect them that Peggy was the one with the super soldier serum and Steve was still just skinny Steve. Like, she didn't look at him as skinny Steve. She just looked at him as Steve. And I like that you could still feel the love between them in this episode.
Mark, I think you agree with that statement.
We already knew this wasn't going to be a problem. If you watch First Avenger, you could tell Steve right away had a crush on this strong woman that was punched another guy in front of him, making Steve go through the mud, through push-ups and all that. He already knew who Peggy Carter was. So we already knew that it didn't matter if she became stronger, grew taller. Steve Rogers was in love with who Peggy Carter was. So we already knew this was going to be a thing. I'm glad it was. I'm glad. I think it would have betrayed who Steve Rogers was if all of a sudden she grew taller than him. He had to be the taller guy, which we already knew wasn't going to be a problem for him. If she was stronger than him, she was already stronger than him. So none of this changed who Steve Rogers was, which is a good man.
And none of it changed anything who she was either. Dr. Ruskin says in the First Avenger that good becomes great and bad becomes worse. Like, if anything, we can all agree that Carter is good.
I think the only thing that changed with her was, man, she smiled a lot more when she became the super soldier. And
she loved her success.
Yeah, she did. And I don't know if we would have heard, I just watched a couple episodes of Agent Carter. I never heard her like shout out, that was brilliant. So this made her a little happier.
Jeff says Steve's still worthy. I like that.
Yep.
Rob, did the romance between Peggy and Steve still something you wanted to see?
I don't. Again, I could have gone either way, but I think it had to be in there. I think that was the point of that. Like you said, they were the same people. They're two people that are meant for each other. The same way Nick Fury was going to be there 70 years down the line, Peggy and Steve are going to fall in love, whichever one of them gets the serum. You didn't like that? Am I looking down on love, Mark? Is that what it is?
No. Here's a Rob answer. So, Rob, did you like that? I mean, I could go either way with it. I like the color blue, but the color red is also a very valuable color. So whichever one is your favorite color, they're both good colors.
I'm gonna give Mark answers. I'm gonna take a deep breath, and then I'm gonna say, let me think of the opposite of what Bryan wants me to say.
Because I see the look on Bryan's face of, all right, quick answers. Man, I don't want to do a quick answer.
I am giving you 1 full minute to say anything else about this episode that you want to say. Markie Mark, go ahead.
The intro and the outro reminded me of The Outer Limits, which as a science fiction nerd, I loved that with the narrator. The animation style, I was a big fan of it. Disney's used that animation style before. I loved her costume. I do hope they come out with that shield. I was sad I didn't go to MegaCon because I heard there were cosplayers of Captain Carter already. I'm a nerd who the next day bought the giant Funko of Agent Carter with the Hydra Stomper. I think the music was brilliant. I hope there's definitely more. I would go see a live action movie. Yeah.
That was well played. Nice work.
Yeah. But I mean, if you don't want a live action movie and you just want another animated movie, that'd be good too. I mean, if you, whatever makes you happy.
Where has Disney used that animation style before?
It was with some of their animated shorts. So if you go on, oh gosh, of course I'm live now and I'm blanking on it, but it was with some of their animated shorts.
Okay. What's going on in Piano Rob world?
Ooh, piano. We're playing a lot. I actually this Thursday I'm going to be at Dave & Buster's in Tampa because one of the piano companies started a deal with them, and then Boathouse shifts most weekends. This weekend, Friday and Saturday night, and Sunday brunch and Tin Roof on Sunday night. So there's my schedule. Go follow me if you want to come see me play.
Yeah.
UWF world, if you did not catch the Field of Dreams game for Major League Baseball, catch the highlights. If you care anything about baseball, that was a huge success. Mark, what else is going on in United We Fan world?
We also, before that, touched on Ted Lasso Season 1 and kind of did a preview of Ted Lasso Season 2, which is going strong and is brilliant.
That was brilliant.
It was brilliant. Man, that Christmas episode, Bryan, that was a top 5 Christmas episode for you. We have a United We Fan Plus coming up to finish the month out strong. And we have a couple episodes planned for October. September, we're going to be brainstorming a little bit. And if you get a chance, check out our Facebook page. Let us know just kind of what is your favorite or preferred episode length. We're just trying to figure out kind of what you all enjoy, whether you like 30 minutes of spiciness, an hour of hot takes and Rushmores, 90 minutes of smooth sounds of Bryan and Mark, or 2 hours of these lovely voices reading and Rushmoring.
All right. Well, wherever you find your podcast, and you are correct. That episode, that Christmas episode of Ted Lasso, not only my favorite episode of Ted Lasso, I would call it one of the greatest episodes of Christmas episode television ever made. It is absolutely fantastic. Jaylynn, anything you want to plug? Nebraska Husker season just around the corner.
I know, next weekend. Here we go. I don't even know who we play, so I'm a super fan, as you could tell. But I'm excited. I do enjoy football season. It is fun. Just the atmosphere is fun.
The weather is changing, at least up there, not here in Florida.
Yes.
Jaylynn, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you coming in and giving us your perspective. We really appreciate it. For Markie Mark, for Rob, we are Earth's mightiest weirdos for all time.
Always.
Always.